Hey guys, Tyler here with the Kingdoms Trading Card Game, and thank you for clicking on this video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the current ban list for competitive play for the Kingdoms TCG. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. So if you're not familiar with what a ban list or a limit list is, it's a way to control the competitive scene, you could say, of a card game to make sure that there is variety, that it's fun, because what can happen after a while is people start to find what the top cards are in the game, and now all of a sudden everyone wants to use those. And so when people are trying to play competitively, if they have another strategy that they want to try to use, but it's not what everyone is using, they might lose more often than not, and it can be not fun. And also too, when you ban and limit cards, it gives other cards the opportunity to be played and maybe get their chance at showing how good they are. And also too, even like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, who have been making cards for as long as we can remember, they still every now and then make cards that are too strong or too powerful, or people that play the game find combinations that are just way too good. And so I'm going to be going through the ban and limit list and just kind of explaining some of the reasoning behind why these cards were chosen. And I'll put up a graphic on there. Okay, so for starters, we're going to start the limited to 2. So this isn't a hit that is super hard. What it just means is that rather than running 3 copies, you can only have 2 of these. So those cards are Lost Cause, Bar Bouncer, Ula the Rebel, and Successful Hunt. Now you can see Linford kind of got hit hard, and you'll see that more as we go down into the limited to 1 and the ban list. Bar Bouncer is just way too good of a card in the standpoint of, in one turn, you can eliminate 2 of your opponent's cards, even though they go back to the hand, and you have just a powerful attack, the attack of a legend basically, for a fraction of the cost. And so that in itself is just way too strong. So bringing it down to 2 just kind of lessens how much that's going to happen. And then Lost Cause is just way too good of a card. Technically, I don't think Linford should even have the card, because Borum, the way Borum Kingdoms are supposed to play, that's a little bit too protective. That's more of a Tannis-esque type of card. That doesn't mean it's going to be taken away from them completely, but it's just way too good of a card. And so I think even bringing it down to 2, I think maybe lessens it a little bit. Rather than coming down with the hammer super hard right away, it's almost like, let's see how this happens, or let's see how this works out, and then we'll bring it down less and less. Ula, bringing it down to 2 just because everyone likes to play it, and figure bringing it down a little bit gives other cards a chance to shine. And then Successful Hunt, just because the way Clue Dace was working, it was getting to the point where you were able to just draw card after card after card after card, and it was really quite ridiculous. So just bringing that down to 2, it's still a powerful card, still available, but it's not as ridiculous. Okay, limited to 1. We have Wheat, Time Scribe, and Dark Assassin. Now, in Yu-Gi-Oh, these are referred to as hand traps, and these are very hand trap-esque. Wheat, some of you might not even be familiar with the card Wheat, because it is a set 2.5 card, and I haven't talked a lot about set 2.5. I probably should do that in future videos. And also for when it comes to gameplay videos, a lot of set 2.5 hasn't been showcased. Wheat is a card that basically shuts down a card that your opponent is playing, and we haven't seen a lot of people play with it yet. And so we are just in using wisdom, seeing that a card is a little bit too strong and immediately dropping it down 1. Time Scribe, for those of you that are familiar, it ends your opponent's turn during their attack phase. Just very good card. And then Dark Assassin. This one's being brought down to 1 because Linford players were automatically playing Lancer and then searching out Dark Assassin, and then they automatically had this hand trap that they were able to go into. And so I think by bringing it down to 1, now you have 3 Lancers, and so now they have to search out other cards. So maybe they search out Supply Caravan or the supply card that I'm drawing a blank on. But it's kind of forcing Linford players. Really, Linford's the one that got hit the hardest on this ban limit list, because it's forcing Linford players to possibly shift routes a little bit, and it might open up the door for other kingdoms to start standing out as maybe the top dog, or maybe kind of spreading the love. And then lastly, going down to the ban list, there are 3 cards on here in particular that are tournament exclusive. So the dudes that I had over, these were cards that they got for coming to play. One of those is Battle Card Slip, and then the Sacred Dorks Assembly Hall and the spell Hip Hip Hooray. That doesn't mean that these won't eventually become standard cards that you can get your hands on, but just for right now they're not available to play with. And then the big one is the Library. This is a card that everyone wanted, but it was really causing some issues in the game, and here is why. Firstly, you knew that everyone wanted to get their hands on it, and so if they did, you knew exactly what two Sacreds they were going to pick. They were going to put the Library at phase 2, and then they were going to put Skylight Fountain at phase 3, because they'd go into phase 2, get all the cards in their hand, and they would get just a really good board state, or a really good hand state, you could say, and then they go into phase 3, Skylight Fountain, and then they would have endless battle cards to put on the field and forever be safe. And that was just what everyone was doing. And then on top of that, you get to draw 10 cards. The one thing I do like about Kingdoms is there never seems to be an opportunity where you're struggling to get cards in your hand, but that was just a little bit too much. And then the other one that has been completely banned is Downtown Pub. What you were seeing a couple people do is they were putting Downtown Pub at phase 1, and it was completely, for their phase 1, and it was completely locking their opponent out from doing anything. Basically, the only way to counter it was hoping that you were going to get a token within your first hand, so that way you would at least be able to have enough Magicka to start playing some cards. I have toyed with the idea of banning Sacreds to certain phases. I don't know if that'd make things a little complicated. Not saying it's something that I won't do in the future, but just something that I'm thinking about. So that is all for the ban and limit list. For those of you that are into Kingdoms, especially playing competitively, I really am curious to hear your thoughts. Other than that, please like and subscribe to the channel and the video. Always appreciate that. And always leave a comment too. I like seeing those comments as well. That is all I have for this video. Until next time, you have an awesome... You know, I would edit this because I am ending the video horribly and I haven't recorded a video in a while, but I'm not going to do that. All I'll say, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.